My mom called a few weeks back stressing out because we're coming down for Christmas and she had no idea what to buy a minimalist. And I was like, there are things that I want. In fact, I have a list of things that I'm happy to send over to you, gift ideas of the types of things that I would love to have. So in that spirit, I thought that instead of going with the usual, buy the minimalist you love a really nice candle, I would share this handy minimalist gifts checklist. I'm also going to go a step further and share my actual Christmas list and why. The idea is that you may use my reasonings for some of the things that I've chosen to ninja the perfect gift for yourself or for the minimalist that you love. By the way, if you're new here, then welcome. My name is Danielle, and I chat all about holistic and clutter-free spaces. So if that's something you're into, be sure to click subscribe and turn on those notifications. I release new videos every Tuesday. I'd like to thank Lily Silk for sponsoring this video, and I'll tell you a little more about them in a bit. But let's go ahead and dive into this meaty checklist. Number one is always going to be things that they want or need. One thing that you can do as the minimalist receiving the gift is to keep a list of the things that you want, and even better if it's easy and convenient. So we've used Google Sheets in the past to curate a list of links and ideas of things that we would like. This year I got a little bit lazy and I created an Amazon wish list to generate easy ideas that just can be easily shared with a link, and I shared some ideas of where similar things might be found. So these lists are really just to generate ideas. You can absolutely shop locally and encourage others to do the same. You can also curate an entire one-link shopping list at your place of choice. It really doesn't matter. In fact, I've already bought some of my gifts, which I'll share today, from a local farmer's market. So it doesn't need to be from Amazon at all if you don't like shopping there, but the idea is that it's a simple way to share things that are of interest. So to be clear, I'm not going to be getting all of these things that are on my list. I might get one or two of them or something similar to that, and that's really the point. There's still an element of surprise while maintaining a sense of others being in the loop of what I need. Now, as the gift giver, just ask. Honestly, it is preferred. There are ways to keep an element of surprise, but complete surprise that's totally off the radar, honestly, it's risky. It can go either way. So don't make one more person fake excitement this year, just ask. Again, I'll share my own list here in a little bit so that you can see a visual. It's really not grandiose. Number two is locally produced consumables. Now, consumables don't always mean food. I know a lot of people who love getting snack boxes for Christmas. In fact, when we do our white elephant Christmases here, we always have a few of those floating around, and they do really well. But things that make me swoon are handmade, organic, things that you might purchase at a farmer's market or a Saturday market. Honestly, the more earthy and natural, the better. We eat that stuff up. Plus, if the person that you buy it for doesn't like it or doesn't finish it, then they don't have to feel bad about discarding it because it's natural and ideally biodegradable. So I got these yummy, chunky soap bars from the farmer's market last week, and I couldn't resist cutting some off and using it because I love the lemongrass and the lavender. I'm going to have to buy some more if I want to give them as gifts, but these smell delicious, and they are just packed with natural essential oils and herbal remedies. Look how pretty. Number three is upgrades and replacements. I would say that most of my list this year falls under this category, as you'll see here soon. It never hurts to ask, but if you're close to someone and you've seen them complaining about the hole in their pillowcase or the malfunctioning can opener, well, that's a safe bet that an upgrade might be appreciated and wouldn't add clutter or excess to the space. Number four is goods with a mission. Minimalists are often into purposeful goods. Eco-friendly, sustainable, zero waste, locally sourced, organic, supporting a good cause, etc. Now, this may not always be the case, but there is definitely some overlap and correlation in the community. Now, I want to reiterate that all of the items in this checklist are for idea generation and should not be assumed or fair game for all gifts. So, in other words, asking is still the best practice. If you know somebody who's into zero waste, but you buy them a bunch of eco-friendly products that they don't need, well, an eco-friendly product that isn't needed is still wasteful, right? So be sure that you're asking. But many of these things aren't financially accessible to a lot of people, and that doesn't mean that they wouldn't really love to participate in some of these brands, which makes them an even greater gift option if you are able to afford something like that. So think outside of the box. Store. See what I did there? In general, focus on quality and sustainability over quantity. And I'm really excited to share that this portion of the video is sponsored by Lily Silk. Lily Silk is a silk and cashmere company that carries high quality and sustainable silk products. They carry things like blouses, pajamas, pillowcases, bedding sets, and more, as well as 100% sustainably produced Mongolian cashmere, like the hoodie that I'm wearing right now. So what's cool about this company is that they are Oikotex Standard 100 certified, and this means that every component of the product, from the fabric to the buttons and everything in between, has been tested and free from harmful substances. It also means that Lily Silk has been certified to have socially responsible, environmentally friendly, and safe practices across the board. In fact, you can trace the supply chain of any labeled product. So that speaks to the transparency of the company itself, but the materials are just as impressive. Silk and cashmere, as you may know, are long-lasting and sustainable. And natural silk fibers, for example, only take 1 to 5 years to decompose, which is 50 times faster than synthetic materials. And these materials are made from 100% sustainable sources, all coming from high-quality silk caterpillar cocoons, for the silk, of course, and sheared Mongolian cashmere goats for the cashmere. Now, I could talk so much more about the production, but honestly, it's not all altruistic because silk in particular has tons of benefits. The tightly woven fibers means that there's less tugging, which reduces sleep wrinkles and hair breakage. And it also contains natural cellular albumin, which is said to speed up the metabolism of skin cells. Also, it doesn't conduct static electricity, which means there's less hair frizz, and it's hygienic and hypoallergenic because bugs, bacteria, and mold don't like silk due to something called sericin residue, which is a natural repellent. So this helps with allergies, skin rashes, and eczema. And finally, it's a natural temperature regulator. So it helps you to retain heat in cold weather and expel excess heat in warm weather while maintaining breathability and moisture-wicking properties. So number 5 is compact items. All things being equal, consider items that are compact in nature. For example, over the summer, I got really excited about the prospect of backpacking-sized tools and equipment to bring camping, rather than loading up the vehicle with all of these regular-sized, fluffy, space-sucking items. So I've also tried to think of ways that I can make my home storage feel a bit more compact. When we sent my daughter on her camping trip over the summer, I was really excited about getting her this giant tote bag that folds up into like a small circle for storage. These things can save so much space, which tends to be a common consideration for most minimalists. And number 6 is versatile items. One principle that is often used in the minimalist community is the concept of having items that serve multiple functions. I've said in the past that my Ninja blender, for example, falls snugly under that category because I've been able to use it as a tool for so many different things, from shredding chicken to blending smoothies to processing smaller foods. I recently got tired of fitting and stacking measuring spoons in our drawers, and I ditched all of them in exchange for a single adjustable measuring spoon. So things that are versatile are essentially saving the space of multiple items. And when you do that in a variety of areas in your home, it makes a huge difference. So that's my quick checklist for minimalist gifts. Let me show you how that translated into my own wish list. So here is what I've put on my list so far, and I didn't get a whole lot of time to look at this compact camping type of stuff, which I'm still really curious about. Honestly, I don't know what all is out there. So if you have any tips on things that you think are must-haves when it comes to backpacking or camping that are really compact, I would love to hear those down below. But for right now, something like this that really compacts down that we can take camping, I think would be really cool. And really, when I'm making these lists, I just let myself go crazy because the whole idea is to give people ideas of things that catch my eye that I would like and enjoy to have. So, I like minimalist type of decor and I don't go crazy with it, but when I see spots where I feel like something is missing or if to give that space an update, then I do like to put those on there. For example, the mirror that we have in the entryway was either a hand-me-down or got at a thrift store at some point. Pretty old and pretty cheap mirror. And I really love the style of these circular mirrors. So that's something that I would eventually love to update, or even if we didn't replace it, I would like to have that in one of the spots of my home. When I was looking at the eco-friendly products, one thing that I didn't get that I would still like to get is a metal razor. And so I put down a couple of different, I think there's another one down here too. Yeah, I put down like 3 different metal razors that caught my eye that I thought looked cool just to kind of give the idea. Some of you know that I'm into bullet journaling, and so you can never have enough fine liner pens, and the medium-sized fine liner pen that I have has already run out of ink, so I would really like to have some more fine liners. Tombow is a really good brand. I can't remember the other one that I got last time that was also a really good brand, so I chose a couple of different ones that looked like they were what I was looking for. And then just for general note-taking, which I do quite a bit, I really like to have felt tip pens, which I currently don't have any of, so I put that on the list. I like to have things just of a different price range variety, right? That way if somebody is wanting to get me something small, they have an option for that. Also, I've shown you a lot of the baby sprouts and plants that I've been growing. Now they're getting big enough that I'm needing more pots, and I like these kind of decorative, stylish pots. I could definitely use some more of those. Our duvet cover, which I do really love, has had a hole in it, like a triangular, weird shaped hole in it for a long time now. And so I would love to have a new comforter set or at least a new duvet set that is linen. I think that linen looks really cool. I really like the neutral colors. And again, there are probably sets like this all over the place. And I'm not specifically saying it needs to be this set if I get one, but I'm just saying, I like this style, I like this material, this color is really vibing with me, so I would enjoy having something like that, I've mentioned my salt and pepper shakers for a while now. I had one that I thought looked kind of cool, and it was a salt and pepper shaker that you could flip over. It had salt on one side and pepper on the other, and it broke a while back. So since then, we've been kind of lacking with the salt and pepper shakers. We have a giant box of flake salt that we're having to use for everything just because we haven't gone out and bought a replacement. Obviously, this is pricier than probably what I would ever spend on a salt and pepper shaker, but it's the style that I'm trying to convey, right? So I'm saying that I like both of these styles of salt and pepper shakers, and that is something that I could use. So similar to the duvet cover that I showed you a second ago, here's another one that's also linen, that's also neutral colors. Another thing that I just came across when I was looking through imagery was these 2 bedside tables, something that I definitely do not think that I would get as a Christmas gift, but even if I don't get these for Christmas, this is like a general wish list for me of ideas of things that I might like in the future. And so I did save this on here. And again, I doubt that I'll get it for Christmas, but I do really like the style. Cases for the sofas. I would love to be able just to give a little bit of an update to the style of our living room by changing out the pillowcases, which is something that wouldn't be bringing in too much extra stuff, but it would still give it a different vibe. So you see that I have a couple of different styles, boho style or the neutral tones, any of those that I would be into. I also really liked this neutral toned artwork set. I thought that looked really nice. Now, these next ones, you're going to laugh. I've always wanted a swing chair inside. That's something it's a weird thing that I've always wanted. I see other people who have them on Instagram and YouTube, and I'm like, God, I've always wanted one of those. So I saw them. I put them on my list, right? That's something that I haven't bought for myself, but that I think would be really cool to, at some point, be able to add to my home. So I put some different types of options, some different styles, just to kind of give people a general vibe of things that I like. And then, aside from the hammock, here's a chair that's maybe a similar style. I really liked this mouse, and I really liked that it is a quiet click mouse. One of the complaints, which is a mild complaint that I have about my current mouse, is just that it is not silent. So you can definitely hear clicks, and if I'm trying to do a webinar or something, you can hear when I change the slide from the click. So it would be cool to have a mouse, and this one happens to match the color of my MacBook. And then here's another option for a salt and pepper shaker. Hopefully this gave you some ideas and inspiration to kind of get the juices flowing. Let me know down in the comments any ideas that you would have to add to the list. I want to thank Lily Silk again for sponsoring this video, and I will catch you guys next week.